Hello, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to another Fundraising Monday marketing meeting. We are back here again with Kit and Mari and myself, Benny, here, the fundraising team. If you're wondering who and what fundraising is, we'd love to tell you a little bit about us.
Let's start in Spanish. What do you say?
Vale. Somos Fundraising. Empoderamos artistas, individuos y comunidades, generando conexiones y creando un impacto en el mundo. Fundraising te permite que artistas y sponsors unan fuerzas, reúnan simpatizantes y transfieran energía en forma de dinero a un beneficiario. Juntos crean una campaña a través de un sitio web y luego cualquier persona puede mostrar su apoyo comprando arte. Para cualquier causa,
Fundraising.
Yeah.
So in English, that was fundraising empowers artists, individuals, and communities to connect together to impact the world. It enables artists and sponsors to join forces, gather supporters, and transfer energy in the form of money to a beneficiary. Together, they create a campaign website, and then anyone can give their support by buying limited edition digital art. For any reason,
Fundraising. Excellent. Thank you so much, Kit and Mari. It's got such a ring to it in Espanol as well.
It sure does.
Especially coming from a native speaker. You've got just such a powerful Spanish voice. Guys, Hackathon. How's it going? What's going on?
Oh my gosh, we've been working hard these 2 weeks, right, Marley?
Oh my God.
So you had, I'm assuming, another meeting today. What went down? What's the skinny?
Yes, so we entered the SDG blockchain hackathon, and it's especially sponsored in part by Blockchain for Good, which is self-funded by Bybit. And it's a hackathon partnering providers such as ourselves with UNDP, that's United Nations Development Program offices around the world, and also their central office. So we just got out of a 3-hour pitch meeting where I pitched, and in combination with Corentin from the UNDP Jordan country office. And here, let me just run through it now, and then we can talk about the hackathon.
It wasn't a 3-hour pitch, though, right? It wasn't.
No, no. Some of them seemed like 3 hours.
And thank you for coming to my TED Talk. 3 hours later.
We kept ours. We were super proud. We were told under 5 minutes. We kept it under 5 minutes. I cannot say the same about most of the others. I was amazed how long some of them went. But anyway, we kept within this. I actually think if you can do a short pitch that conveys what you want, do it. Longer is not better when it comes to pitching, in my humble opinion. Let me share my screen here. And so I'm going to do the whole. So I partnered with Corentin from the UNDP office. This pitch deck is half problem and half solution. So when we get to the solution part, that's the part that I really shined at. That's the part I was responsible for. But let me get through Corentin's part too. So our project is empowering artists and enhancing tourism in Jordan. Fundraising partnered with UNDP Jordan office. The challenge is Petra's fragile tourism economy. So here's the situation. Tourism drives 15% of Jordan's GDP, so quite a lot, with Petra pictured on the right as the country's flagship destination. Amazing. It's an amazing archaeological destination. 85% of Petra's residents depend on tourism for income, and recent crises have led to 28 hotel closures and 700 plus job losses, hitting artisans, women, and youth artists. And just to put this in context, We have Israel on one side and Iran not too far away on the other side. And obviously, these countries have not been friendly with each other. And Jordan's tourist economy has nothing to do with this conflict, but they're right caught in the middle. So there's just an over dependence on visitors creates fragile livelihood. So when there is a problem in the region, it really threatens the preservation of Petra's cultural identity. So why it matters and why the UNDP is in there. It's to sustain its cultural identity and heritage. Petra needs a diversified economic model, reducing dependence on visitors, strengthening community resilience, also sustainable job creation, entrepreneurship, livelihood opportunities. And interestingly, the UNDP, before we were partnered up with them, was already doing stuff with the arts in this outdoor art exhibition that they were already sponsoring. So some of the relationships we need to pull this off are already in place. And we're looking for ways for economic inclusion and access to global markets, not just local markets. So if you think of the personas involved, these are sort of general characters that represent more people. We have Layla, and she's an artist and our main character. Her goal is to earn income beyond the fragile tourism, and she has highly unreliable income due to global crisis. PDTRA, or what I call the Tourism Authority, it's wants to support sustainable livelihoods while preserving the heritage of Petra. And then we have Petra Women's Weavers. That's a local artisan community that could use some support. And then we have Sarah Holmes. She's an American, and she would like to come on vacation to see Petra, but right now is holding back to wait for things to calm down. And she has no direct channel to connect at that point. The solution is fundraising. Fundraising empowers, and you've heard this before. I just said it at the beginning of the stream. Fundraising empowers artists, individuals, and communities to connect together to impact the world. It enables artists like Layla and sponsors like the Tourism Board to join forces, gather supporters like Sarah, and transfer energy in the form of money to a beneficiary like the Petra Women's Weavers. So I hope you're beginning to sort of see how this all fits together. Together, they create a campaign website, and then anyone can give their support by buying limited edition digital art. And here's an example. There was an earthquake in Turkey, and we had a campaign, and this is the art. The artist was connected to a gallery. The gallery was the sponsor. The beneficiary was a nonprofit in an NGO in Turkey that was helping earthquake victims already and crypto friendly. And the supporters were people in the crypto community, because at that point we couldn't mint NFTs just with a credit card. So now we can, by the way. So how does it work? If you want to try this, artists like Layla create what's called an art pack. Sponsors, such as the Tourism Authority, take those art packs and create campaigns. Supporters like Sarah are able to mint NFTs of the art, and those NFTs can later also serve as tickets, and we'll get more to that in a minute. The beneficiaries, such as the Petra Women's Weavers, can receive proceeds from this campaign, as well as the sponsor, as well as the artist. So from art to impact, what makes this unique? It's community-centered, and it's a multi-stakeholder model. All those stakeholders are aligned financially. Because it's on the blockchain, the Avalanche blockchain, it is trust and traceability are built in. And because they are NFTs, and NFTs can be tickets, there's a tourism tie-in where imagine Sarah buying an NFT and then later using it as a ticket for Explore Jordan. So there's impact, resilient livelihoods, cultural heritage preserved, global communities engaged. So we did a 2-week period for this hackathon to prepare to get to this point, and then there's a 12-week period if we move on to the next stage. We'll have 2 tracks. One track will be working technical, and one will be working on business development. The technical track, it's good to note, and Mari, thank you again for mentioning this. We have an MVP. It works now. And in our discussions over the last 2 weeks with the Jordan UNDP office, we've identified 4 new features that would be cool to have, and there they are. And that's what we're going to work on there on the technical track. On the business development track, we will go around with our stakeholders, artists, sponsors, supporters, beneficiaries, 3 iterations in 12 weeks, spending a week per time, because we find this is the best way to bootstrap a marketplace. At the same time, Jordan just announced that they have a new cryptocurrency law, so compliance, and that's what we'll be working on actually in this track from day one, figuring out how we can work within the law to the new crypto law to this. So what about after these 12 weeks? What happens? We're going to go global by going local. And this is the thesis of this seminal book on marketing and business development called Crossing the Chasm. And its thesis is that in order for a startup to go global, it needs to focus all its energy on a local market and get that really working well, and then expand. And that's how it gets to mainstream adoption. Airbnb followed this, Facebook followed this, and fundraising's right behind. It makes for such a good combination with UNDP Jordan project, because they are that local place to focus, and we can do that right in Petra. So it's a perfect match. So thank you for any reason. Fundraising, empowered lives, resilient nations. I love how those 2 slogans go together. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's my presentation. So yeah, and if you have questions and you're in the chat, feel free to type them in. So
phenomenal. I can definitely understand why if your presentation was, it's very concise, like it's like you're saying, like
I was verbose in this version. I was Mari will tell you, I was just like bub 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 bub.
Yeah.
But I figure we have a little more time here.
Yeah, because you're trying to keep it makes sense though. Like you don't need a whole lot of, like, the longer it takes to explain, probably like the less sense it makes. But this makes so much sense that I love it. And so it was
Thank you, Benny.
positively,
I do too.
it was positively received, or like did they go through like a question process after the presentation, or?
One of the judges, this guy Adam, he gave a positive question. He was like, "I'm really into this because I go to Jordan all the time as a tourist." I'm like, "We want to talk to you." So that was awesome.
Awesome.
And yeah, and then they asked good questions about how are we going to actually get users to use this. So we have some multiple challenge, like the tourism authority. Luckily, the Jordan office already has a relationship with them through another project, so that's a good start. We have this crypto law to deal with. How do we go with that? And then I wish I sort of answered this question in pieces, but as far as artists, we found it pretty easy to recruit artists, and also that they will refer us to other artists and literally send us thank you notes for doing this. We got multiple thank you notes. Thank you for doing this from artists. So artists are really no problem to recruit, and we're super happy that's the case. And then reaching out to supporters like Sarah through tourism boards, and also the Jordan diaspora, reaching out to Jordan expats living abroad, living in the USA, Canada, wherever, Europe, and they want to support the culture back home. So all sorts of, so I'd say, Mari, you were listening. What did you think?
I think it was pretty good. We respected the timing. I mean, more than others, I have to say. It's just like it felt in general like we had set up a meeting for 2 hours, and they were almost 4 hours, and then like,
Wow.
I mean, but yeah,
Well,
I think
it's a testament to your preparedness. You guys, this was something that you were
yes,
definitely excited about last Monday, and so I'm really glad to hear how well it went through.
And look at this deck, Benny. Ashmita did such a great job.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it crazy? Look at these slides. She just did just one after another. Good slides, clear, not too text heavy, but if you want to skim, the words are in bold that you can, different color you can skim. We just
Very
packed on
balanced.
such stuff. And I love the wrinkles. Wrinkles, of course, is our mascot, and the wrinkles reveal at the end, right? Because Wrinkles is always there in this picture that's in the background. But then as soon as we get to that last slide, we get boom, there's Wrinkles. Just awesome.
He's been there the whole time.
Yeah. And UNDP, the logos are so different from each other, but she managed to make those work really well, which is and she's working really hard right now. She's going through a certification and needs to work for us on nights right now. And so she was really burning the midnight oil to get this done. So shout out to Ashmita.
yeah,
She did great, per usual. I love seeing Wrinkles because he adds levity to just everything, and it's kind of like he's hopeful,
Yeah.
So you have your tracks set for the coming steps. Are there other challenges for new users that you can kind of anticipate, or is it going to be kind of deal with the speed bump as it comes?
We already are learning things just from talking to the Jordan UNDP office. So those features, right? We picked those features because those are the ones that it seemed like would be important for, after talking to them. So we're really listening. Yeah. I mean, it may look a little random, but it's actually based on user feedback, which is super important in startups. That's iterative, and user feedback is the right model for this. See what works. And one really important thing that we didn't mention in here, and I sort of wish we had, but it's in our longer document a couple of times, is that net promoter score, which we've talked about before.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this to your friend or colleague? That statistic is, I think, the key to our success.
Right.
It's gonna, because this is if this will only work through word of mouth. There's some trust involved, so it has to work well for people. So you have to get to that. So yeah, in 2020 hindsight, I wish I had worked net promoter score into one of my answers, especially when he was asking about trust. And just say, hey, we need a few people to have good user experiences, and then they will tell their friends, and then they will tell their friends. And that's what we're counting on. And because there are multiple stakeholders aligned, there are more friends to tell in more communities. So it's like this natural, it's not just you in a GoFundMe and you're with your friends, and some of your friends support your whatever you raise money for, and then it's over, right? And no one else sees it. And maybe one of your friends, but it's all siloed. And
right.
With fundraising, it breaks out of that silo naturally, very easily, because that artist is going to have a completely different community than, say, the beneficiary. So, and all the support. Yeah. Sorry, Benny, go ahead. Yeah.
No, you're good.
I can go on and on.
I'm thinking back to the certificate feature. That's a really good point that you have about like previous they still exist, but existing platforms, they don't offer that bit of recall. It's exactly what you're saying. It's a kind of a single instance, and the campaign runs for how long it runs, but then it's over. But with this, there's this art connection to it, and this recollaboration, especially using NFTs as like tickets. There's perpetuation. There's
Right.
this is a ripple created from the preliminary campaign, and it's waving out. And especially with the certificate, being able to have that up, if as maybe even as we had discussed, a form of artwork, that's a conversation starter on its own. You're like, wow, that's so cool. Like, what's it from? What's it mean? I can't wait to tell you about it. Fundraising, you can do one too.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's so exciting, and I'm so glad to hear that we're
Yeah.
doing. We're,
You
we're
know, and regardless, I mean,
fun.
there were a lot of good projects, and I think you know, hopefully we'll make the next cut. But even if we don't, we've learned so much in this process, and we're ready to make the next cut on our own. But it was really cool working with UNDP Jordan too. The stakeholders there who are working on the ground, you know, already have this connection with art and artists in the community, and seem really committed to that as something that they personally are interested in, and tourism as well too, and tying those two together. So I'm excited about that. And I'm, you know, obviously would be an honor to work with the UN in any capacity. So there you go.
I'm very confident. I'm confident that we'll get to the next stage, and that I think that this is a great kind of launch point, like a great opportunity to expound on fundraising. When I was doing music, the band I was in, we joined a battle of the bands, and the prize ended up being some recording time and a little bit of merch. And that's what we used to like release our EP, and like that's how people started hearing more about our music. Like these contests are a great not only learning opportunity, as you said, but like a lot more people are now aware of fundraising. You just did a full presentation on it. Everyone
true.
on that call is another person that now knows about it.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Maybe there's even people on other teams who, now having heard your presentation and weren't necessarily, you know, like bored or lost during it because it was a good presentation. Maybe they're like, I
almost chilled us in the chat, Betty. I almost chilled us in the chat, like put a link to the website and stuff. I was like, I should have, but I was just like, I didn't want to interrupt somebody else's presentation, you know, like, but
there'll be
I still will. I think I might post a link to this chat that we're having now.
Excellent.
For them to just if anybody who's interested. Yeah.
Mari, what's your next big challenge in the project? What's the next thing that you're gonna feel is gonna keep the car rolling, or what are you least or most excited about next?
If you're talking about the hackathon,
yeah,
to be accepted to the next step, I think.
Yeah.
And so yeah, well, in the technical part, we have all those features we will develop in the next cohort if happens, and if not, I think we could do it even though we are not, you know, I mean, I'm pretty positive we will be in, you know.
But regardless,
yeah, those are great features that are gonna be in development. Like, even like, it's not gonna happen because we'll be into the next stage. I'm manifesting it right now. But
thank you, Betty.
Even still, like, this is all still work towards what we want to accomplish anyway, which is great. It's something we were already kind of doing, but this is just a great way to advance it extensively.
Yep.
Totally.
Excellent. Well, when will we know when
1 week.
The next stage? 1 week.
Next Monday.
Okay. All right. So we'll have a big update for the next Monday marketing meeting.
Or we won't talk about it.
I think that
I'm kidding.
Having a recap of the last week, but then also when we get in, we'll talk about the next steps, about the next stage, or in an alternate universe where we don't, we can at least discuss like what we got from it.
You know, and say for some reason we don't get into this, and I'm not a manifesting guy. You go ahead, please do it, because do double, because I don't do it. But but I'm pragmatist, and I'm just like, hey, those guys at UNDP Jordan seem really interested into this. So if we for some reason don't get in, I would just go to them and be like, hey, do you want to do it anyway?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's, you know, I don't know, and then we might actually get into the, you know, if they, you know, because I think it could really take off. So we see.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Mari.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know, but I think fundraising is a good project. We could find investors in the process. So
yeah, it sounds like some people are already excited about it, and especially like you said, one of the judges who already goes to Jordan. That's going to be poignant for him.
Yeah, poignant. Thank you.
That's going to be, yes.
That's just it. It's poignancy all over this project. I mean, there was another project that talked about the environment and sort of, you know, it's sort of, but there was poignancy to that one too. You know, it was just like, we have to do this, and it's going to solve some world problems. So I like projects like that. They draw me to them.
They stick with you. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited to hear about the updates next week. Thank you all so much for joining us for another Fundraising Monday marketing meeting. We're going to be starting the next meeting with some good news, and hopefully with Zaheen and Ashmita back with us as well.
Can't wait.
Until then, for any reason,
fundraising.